of SuperMap iDesktopX. So if you have any inquiries along the session, please let us know by type it in the chat box and we're going to answer your inquiries. Or you may send us your question if you happen to encounter with any problem after the session, like when you try it on your own and suddenly you can't open the desktop or have any other problems. Just email us and we are going to assist you with your problem. You may contact us at this email address, nurshafiqazakaria57@gmail.com or anisupermap@gmail.com. So moving on. Now we are going to take a look on the contents for today's session, where we're going to learn about the GIS data structure, data attributes, and image pyramids, which we're going to learn about the special data attribute, how to manage mosaic datasets, and also how to manage image pyramids. Other than that, we are also going to learn and focus on on which type of supported distributed database of SuperMap before we go to the demonstration on iDesktopX. Okay, first we're going to learn about the GIS data introduction. For a GIS data source, as we know that it can be classified as two different data, such as which is the classification by the data acquisition, and also the classification by the data presentation. For the data acquisition, there is a map data, remote sensing images, measure and sharing data. While for the data presentation, it has a multimedia data, digital map, and text data under it. Now we are going to go to one by one for the GIS data source, which first is the map data. As we know that maps is the main sources for GIS, which it is including the attributes and categories, entities, and its spatial relationship between the data. How we can acquire this map data is actually by doing a tracing digitizing and also a scanning digitizing. Map is used to express the spatial and non-spatial information, where the complete thematic atlas, also known as the well-manual geographic information system. As you can see, the example of the maps is on the right, as you can see. Next, we have remote sensing images, where it always provides the important information sources of GIS. RS or remote sensing can provide you with a comprehensive information of a certain data set, and it has a fast speed. Other than that, it also helps to reduce the redundancy of the data storage, but at the same time, it also provides us with the diverse information for the thematic maps. As you can see in the slide, and this is some of the example of the remote sensing images, such as Landsat 7, MODIS, GF1, and also FR4. Next, we go to the measured data. Measured data, which is it can be saved in a geographic database after the conversion of the data. This measured data is being applied to GIS data acquisition in a small range or updates. Usually, measured data has a high precision, where this actually act as advantages of the measured data, but it gives you low efficiency for the data that you already acquired. The measured data that you can acquire is from the GPS or the station and to the lab. For the classification by the data presentation, we have text and multimedia data. The text data usually diverse statistical data like a population and natural resources. And usually this type of data is being owned by the departments and organization. The text data is one of the sources for the GIS data, especially you can see this type of data in the attribute table. Next, we also have the multimedia data such as videos and audios, where this multimedia data can be input into the GIS database through the communication ports. Okay, there are three types of GIS data such as spatial, attribute, and metadata. For the metadata, it is actually a set of data that introduce the data and give information about the other data. While for the attribute data, it is actually the information linked to the geographic features and that describe the features, and it has qualitative data that mostly describe the qualitative features, and also it also have the quantitative data that helps to describe the classification of features or identifies the features. Lastly, we have a spatial data, which it provides the information that identifies the location of the features and boundaries on Earth. It has two different types of spatial data, which is raster data and vector data. Raster data is basically from remote sensing data, aerial images, map scanning, copies, and it can be transformed from the vector data. While the vector data it came from a positioning devices such as a GPS, conventional surveying, map digitization, spatial analysis, and it also can be transformed from the raster data. So, as we previously said, that spatial data has two different types of data. So this is actually the example of the vector data formats and raster formats. That's for the raster formats, that it actually stimulates the reality by using the regular grid. As you can see, this is a grid and this is the rest for the raster format. So now we are going to focus on the spatial data, where spatial data, it actually refers to individual or group of data that is being identified the geographic allocation of features and boundaries on Earth. For example, its coordinates, which being represented by longitude and latitude, coordinate system, and also projection. While for address, it is represented by the postal code, address, and also house number. So there's a few characteristics of spatial data, such as the spatial characteristic and also attribute characteristic. Spatial data actually can be represented by the vector data, tabular data, and also a raster data. Vector data, which represent the terrain features, mostly in points, and you can see that usually it is being in shapes of points, lines, and region. While for the raster, it is usually in images to represent the continuous surface. While lastly, we have a tabular data that is which it is actually the attribute table that helps to describe the data information. As you can see, this shows the attribute characteristic, and this one shows the spatial characteristic. Okay, vector data is an expression based on the geometrical shapes, where it uses point lines, where it uses points, lines, and regions to express certain features such as roads, mountains, and also river or any housing areas. While raster data is actually the expression which is based on the pixel or grid data, which each grid or pixel is associated with specific geographical location, where the value of pixel can either be continuous, for example, the elevation, or it can be categorical, for example, land use map. And as you can see on the PowerPoint or on the slide, the vector data and the the example of the vector data and the raster data that is be represented in the map. Like this one is the vector data and this one is the example of the raster data. Next, we go to our sub-content, which is a GIS data structure. So this is the GIS data structure that you can see in iDesktopX interface when you open the software. It has a workspace where under the workspace, it has a data source collection, map, chart, layout, scene, dashboard, and map and resource collection. We have a maps, data sources, and others under each of collection. While under resources, it has actually a marker symbols, linear symbols, and also a filling symbols, where we can also create our own symbols by using under the resources. So this is the maps that you can have, charts, the layouts, the scenes, AR maps, the dashboard. This is the example under the workspace manager. Next, we're going to focus on the data engine in SuperMap. Okay, so SuperMap SDX Plus is a special data engine module in the SuperMap GIS platform that provides data support for other modules in the platform, such as for the visualization module, spatial analysis module, and others, which from it is actually true that where this SDX Plus provides the data storage, reading, indexing, and change function. I'm sorry. Okay. So SuperMap SDX Plus has technical okay, I'm sorry, you can just ignore this one, the arrow. Okay, SuperMap SDX Plus actually has technical features that helps to store, assess, index, and update the spatial data, which actually SDS Plus support for a wide range of object that has a various spatial object types, including the simple spatial objects such as points, lines, polygons, and text. And also a complex, not only a simple spatial objects, it also has a complex spatial objects, for example, multi-point, multi-line, whole polygons, and also a complicated object such as networks, routes, tins, DMs, grids, and images. By having a SDS Plus for the topological model, it helps the topology model to further enhance and implementing a complete topology model and a topology validation rules. Other than that, the feature of SDS Plus also give you a different storage medium integration. So next we go to the data models. Okay, the data models that we have is a few. There is a few data models that we have, such as point, line, and region data model. For the point data model is actually a pair of coordinates where if you open the nodes, you can see the X and Y, which represent the longitude and latitude. While the line data model actually is a series of ordered pairs of coordinates, while the region data model is a series of the line model where the last point should be or must be overlapped with the first point. Like this one, maybe this one is the last point. This one is the first point. So when you create it or click it, make sure you overlap the last one on top of the first point. So other than that, we also have grid data models and also image data models. Grid data models is being used to express the geographic phenomena, while the imaging data model is being obtained by the imaging systems on the satellite or airplane. where we can obtain this image data model basically through the satellite or aeroplane lah. The value of each grid is the reflectivity of a band of light. Okay, so this is the example of the grid data models. And you can see DM. We can see a little bit the grids here, the precipitation and the land use type. For the image data model, we have the remote sensing images and also aerial photo. So for the data engine, the data pump of SuperMap actually provides and maintains a complete data model. Besides the traditional database engines and file engines, web engines are also being supported by SuperMap SDX+, which it will allows you to access OGC-based network data service. WFS, which is the Web Feature Services, is the standard of the vector map. And WMS, Web Map Services, is the standard of a raster map. While WCS is the Web Coverage Services, which it is the standard of the image layer. So, the web engine actually can access the web services that is being provided by WFS, WMS, and WCS. The web engines will process the web servers which meet OGC criteria as SuperMap data sources. So with this engine, maps and data in SuperMap actually can be combined completely with that published by network. Database engines actually focus on the relational database management system like Oracle SQL+, DB2, Keybase, and others. Not only we can use the web data engines and also traditional data engines. If you want to use the distributed data engines and also Chinese data engines, you can also use it. Because the spatial database is the database of saving and managing spatial data, and SuperMap saves spatial data and attribute data into them through the SuperMap SDX+, where it helps to manage and operate on the large scale relational database. So next, we have a spatial data attribute. So attributes are basically will describe the information of objects like features. For example, as you can see in the pictures, the spatial data of all the features or layers can be seen in these attribute tables, and even the specific object features also can be seen in its properties of the layers. Actually, socio-economic data and statistical data are also part of the attribute information. Okay, next we have the attribute structure, where the attribute structure in SuperMap iDesktopX actually has a system fields that is prefixed by the SM, where the example is SMID, SMR area, and others example. It also has a custom fields that can be created based on the features data like name and so on. The supported field types in iDesktopX attribute table has like white character, text, bit integer like 16, 32, or 64-bit integer, double precisation or single precisation, where all of this depends on the features that you have. Okay, lastly, we have the attributes operation for the spatial data attribute. The operation of the spatial data attributes actually can have output such as from Excel, or you can save the data attributes that you already create into Excel, or you can save it as a data set. And the attribute table can also be edited. We can also edit the table, like append the column or row, or append the column, append the row, or update the fields and many other features for the attribute operation. We can also edit the statistical analysis, Like we can do a sum, average, max, mean, variance of the data in attribute table. Like maybe you want to have like the sum of this analysis or the features or any sum that you want. So you can just do the statistic analysis on this iDesktopX. Next, we're gonna learn or we're gonna focus on how to manage the mosaic data sets. Okay, the mosaic data set actually manage data in the way of metadata plus original image. When adding image into a mosaic data set, the system will record their meta information like path, outlines, resolution, and others. So the application actually won't add images until you use the mosaic data set. Compared to the traditional method, this method not only improves the speed of data imputing, but it also helps to reduce the occupied memory. So the supported data formats for this can be TIFF or image files, which including the normal images and any digital elevation model. Okay, so the mosaic data set actually can manage a big amount of image in different formats such as TIFF, TIFF, .tif, .tiff, and project different coordinate system into, and it can help to project the different coordinate system into the same coordinate system. Okay, in mosaic data set, it has a boundary, outline, and also images. So for boundaries, it is actually the visible range of mosaic dataset where you can rebuild the boundaries of mosaic dataset based on its outline or custom range or boundaries of the specified object. Next, we have outline, where it actually helps to manage the information of the images like path, image pyramids, resolution, and resolution. Lastly, we have image, where it is we can add all added image in the mosaic dataset, and the image of the application mosaic images will be dynamic. Okay, so this is the example for the managed mosaic dataset, where we can browse the attribute table and add the mosaic dataset. We rectify the path and build the overview map. Lastly, we can create the image pyramids after exporting the data. So this is the example of the mosaic dataset. Okay, so actually, mosaic dataset helps to provide the following ways to set the display of mosaic dataset. It helps to remove no value and also display the setting which include the display of the spatial value, color table, stretching, and raster functions. It also helps this mosaic dataset also helps to provide the sets display which is range through the setting the filter expression, rebuild boundaries, or we set the clip mode to the boundary clip. Lastly, it also helps to set the display of mosaic dataset through a display order, where it helps to set the display order through image layer object. Okay, with a mosaic dataset, image files can be managed in batch without having to store them or to store them repeatedly, and it can smoothly be browsed, where we can smoothly browse the images and retrieve the attribute. Because as you can see in the video previously and in the video shown. Okay. Next, we're going to take a look on how we can manage the image pyramids. Okay, so an image pyramid is actually a collection of images that being generated according to a certain rules from fine to coarse resolution. The image pyramids analogy use the image resampling method to establish a series of image layers of different resolution, where each layer is segmented and stored, and the corresponding spatial index mechanism is established so as to improve the display speed. So it helps to improve the display speed when zooming and browsing the image. As you can see in the figure in the screens or PPT, the image pyramid that has been shown is where we can see that the bottom one is the original highest resolution which represent the image, which it is the 512 times 512 image resolution. So this is what we need to know, where the higher the image resolution, the smaller the resolution. So respectively, the top is the lowest resolution image of the image pyramid, which is 64 times 64. So these image pyramids actually has a 4 layers which means it has a 4 levels of resolution. Obviously, the higher the image resolution of the image, the more level of the image pyramid. Okay. Next, we're going to have a distributed data management. Okay, SuperMap iDesktopX actually supports 2 types of distributed database engines, including HBase and DSF, which it helps to manage distributed spatial data in HBase databases and also HDFS. Okay, so actually HBase is an open source distributed column-oriented database that is being built on Hadoop, if I'm not mistaken, if the correct pronunciation, file system, where it uses a scale-out architecture. So HBase is actually a kind of data model that is quite similar to the design of a Google Big Table, and it has been provided, and it actually provides the ability of quickly visiting massive structured data. Okay, actually HBase is a fault tolerant where it allows to read and write a big data randomly. It also supports the vector spatial data, and it can help to process, storage, and compute a big amount of data based on Spark Big Data Framework distributed. While DFS is a distributed spatial file engine that is being introduced by a SuperMap, where it supports the local file system and HDFS. It actually supports the managing vector data, raster data, and also image data, and it also helps to process, storage, and compute a big amount of data on the Spark Big Data Framework distributed. It also has the ability to overlay for overlay analysis. Okay, so SuperMap iDesktopX has the distributed spatial data management. So it actually helps to distribute the data storage, which performs a series of operations on data like reading effectively, searching, and analyzing. Other than that, it also helps to distribute the data import that helps to effectively importing the vector data and raster data. The SuperMap iDesktopX also provides the attribute checking and management, and also the attribute query. It also provides the publish map services, where the maps created from the distributed data can be published as iServer map services. Lastly, it also useful and helps to directly rendering the data, which it use a layer group to manage distributed data, which has a better performance. It also supports to create automatic maps and loading maps and also templates. Okay, so the source of data including the traditional spatial database-based data source, SFX, distributed SDX data source, and file-based data source, UDB and UDBX. For the traditional way, it actually supports on importing the vector data to H-based database only, where the vector data only can be import into the H-based database. While if you want to import the image image database, while you want to import, if you want to import the image data to the SM data source, you need to use a big data tool. Okay, for clustering way, it is actually the way to import the data using a big data tool that is being provided in the toolbox, which it can not only import data to H-based database, but it also can import the data into HDFS. But it also can create image pyramids from vector data to improve the display performance. The clustering way actually helps to it can also adopt the distribution computing ability of Spark to make sure the high efficiency of the big data importing. Okay, so the data management supports accessing vector data stream where iDesktopX can display and refresh data instantly. Thereby, it can reflect the change of the spatial position of the data. It also supports to create automatic maps, as you can see in the figures. In the screen. It also supports to create automatic maps, heat maps, grid aggregation, and diagram from the vector data. Actually, it also allows you to render the data stream in different ways. So, lastly, this through this data management and through this data management, it also supports by saving the vector data stream as a data set, which is quite convenient for the data rolling. Okay, we are going to go to the iDesktopX demonstration, but before we go to the iDesktopX demonstration, we're going to take maybe like 5 to 10 minutes break before we resume our demonstration of iDesktopX introduction. If you have any question you or inquiries, you may type it in the chat box. Me or my team will assist you with your question. So yes, Anis.
Okay, thank you, Shafika. So everyone, we will have 5 to 10 minutes break. So I hope to see you again on 15 p.m. Malaysia time. Okay, so before, I hope you are all ready. Open your iDesktopX in advance and then prepare the data also. So yes, see you in about 8 minutes. Okay, thank you. Okay, welcome back, everyone. So let's start directly with the demonstration in how you can do the data management by using SuperMap iDesktopX platform. So for those who still having an issue while installing or during the training after this, so you can stay for a while after the Q&A session, and then our team will directly help you after this. Okay, so okay, let's start now, Shafika.
Okay, hello everyone. Wait, should, um, I'm going to share my screen first. Why cannot share the screen? Um, So, hello everyone, and welcome back to our last session for today workshop, which is the iDesktopX demonstration. For the question, I'm going to answer later during a Q&A session. Okay, so first, for the iDesktopX demonstration, if you already download or install the iDesktopX, you may open it and do it together, or you can do it later on. But if you face any problem, just directly contact us so we can assist you guys on the problem that you encounter. So for today's rules, we are actually going to like introduce you guys about the iDesktopX. Like, we're going just do this basic thing first, just to let you guys be used to iDesktopX. So later on, if you open it, you know where's the tools, how you can upload the data and so on. So for today's course, we are actually going to first upload the data into the workspace, and then we're going to click the data and also check the attribute table of the data that we already upload. After that, we are going to add label to the map, and we're gonna differentiate each state or each district with a different color, where we're actually going to create a thematic map of Malaysia by using iDesktopX. So I'm going to show you the final looks. It's going to look like this for our final result. So let's go to our iDesktopX. Okay, so this is the interface of the iDesktopX. If you open the iDesktopX, okay. So if you open the iDesktopX, this is the interface that you're gonna have. But maybe some of you gonna have a little bit different interface due to the actually SuperMap iDesktopX gonna be adjusted the interface to the screen computer. So it will look a little bit different on my laptop and your laptop. So it is nothing. It just, you can still use it. No worries. Okay, so now we're going to take a look on how we can upload the data. Okay, before we go to uploading the data, okay, we're going to learn about the Okay, so we're going to take a look on this. This is the workspace manager on the left, as you can see. On the workspace manager, you're going to see, like I shown you previously, the data source, the map, the layouts, the scene, and other step of this. And then we also can go to the SuperMap online, but I'm going to focus on the workspace manager. On this tab, there is a start tab, data tab, 3D tab, spatial analysis, spatial statistical analysis, traffic analysis, processing automation, data migration, view, and the online one. Wait, I'm sorry, give me 1 minute. I'm sorry, there is a problem. So, okay, back to this. So, if you want to add if you want to create a new data source, like right now, we are going to start with to upload the data into our iDesktopX. So we are going to create a new data source. Okay, you need to under the workspace manager, you see this untitled workspace. So under this untitled, below it, you can see the data source. So for the data source, you need to right click this, and you can see this tab, or okay, this one. So for this one, you either can click open file data source if you have existing data source that you already create, or you can create a new file data source. So for today, I'm going to create a new file data source. So I'm going to name it as training. Okay, so the file type, actually there's two, which is SuperMap UDBS file and SuperMap UDB file. You can save it either UDBS or UDB, but I prefer using it as UDBS. There is not that many differences between UDBS and UDB, and you can just use UDBS, and maybe you can't really see the differences, but when you do a 3D, when you want to create a 3D data, maybe you will see a little bit difference between UDBS and UDB. But for today, we're going to use UDBS. I'm going to save it as UDBS file. So save it to places that you want. So I'm going to save it on my training SuperMap. So yes. So I'm just created a new data source. So my data source, I'm going to right click it and create, either you can create a new data set. If you want to create a new type of point, line, or region, you can just click to add a new data set. But as I already have my own data set, so I'm just going to import the data set. You can click this plus. So I'm going to input the, it actually has the file type that you can upload into iDesktopX or import into the iDesktopX is quite a lot, such as you can upload it from AutoCAD, from the IGS, from the map info, Google. Like if you take the data directly from Google Earth, the data going to be either in KML or KMZ, so you can just directly import it into this iDesktop. And Map GIS, Microsoft, and also image bitmap file. So if you don't know which type of your data, you just click all file, and then you can just open and click it. So for today, I'm just going to add this to shared file. So I'm going to import it and let it be just like this. Okay, so I already import the data set here. If you don't want to right click the data source or the data source to add a new data set or to add a new data source. You can just go here. You can see data source. You can go to here and click open file data source or new file data source. And this one is the database, so open database data source, and this one is for the web. And all of these workspace manager also can be found in this start tab. So if you don't know how to, if you don't want to right click, you can just click here and just create new map or scenes or whatever you want. So for this one, you can, we just upload a new upload data into our iDesktopX, and now we're going to browse the attribute tables of the data where we can, oh, I'm sorry, too fast. Okay, where you can just right click on the data that you want to browse the attributes table, and then you can click it, and you can see the attributes table of the data. Okay, and this one, as you can see, the names, the ID is, the name is the states of Malaysia, the ID. And for this one, you can also see the difference where it has a district instead of only state area. So as I said previously, you can either edit this one. If you want to update the field and everything, you can just update it. But this one, we're going to focus on next week on how we can use the tools in iDesktopX, where we're going to focus more on it. But for this week, we're just going to upload the data and create a thematic map of the Malaysia. So we're going to close this one, and then you can right click it again and add to new map. Or you can just double click and it will automatically come out the map. Or you can just drag it here and yes. Okay, if you, okay, the layers, the upper layer is going to be like mice underscore ADM2, and the lower layer going to be mice underscore ADM1. So if you want to see the bottom layer, you can just, this you can see there is an eye here, right? So you can just click open or close the eye, whichever that you want. Okay, and then if we can check the associated table here. Okay, so this is the associated table of this layer. Okay, actually, on your right side, there's going to be a catalog and toolbox. I'm sorry, I forgot to show it to you guys. Previously, you see the catalog, and right now you see the toolbox on this iDesktopX, where you can either import data or map making here, conversion here, and other toolbox tools that you want to use and in the toolbox areas. So I'm just going to close it first. So we are done uploading the data, and if you want to change the layer style of your data, you can just right click it again in the layer manager, and then you can change, if you want to change the transparency and others, you can change it here. If you want to make it none, but or if you want to make it quite transparent, so you can see the above layer and the below layers. So you can change the transparency, and we can change the line symbol. So I'm going to change the line symbol color into black. Okay, and that's on. So right now I'm going to close the first layer that I upload into the map. because I don't want to use it. So I'm going to remove it. You can just remove it by right-clicking it. Okay, and then you can just okay here. It won't affect anything. So this one you already create it. Wait, I share on this screen. Okay, so next we can check our demo goals again, which we already upload the data into the workspace, and we can already check the attribute table, and now we can click the data. Okay, you can click the data by maps. Click the tab maps here. Then you can click the area that you want. Okay, under the maps, you can see there is the map swipe. The operation that you can do is map clip, measure, and in units and centimeters. This one is for mapping, data, if you want to add data, and the properties, the layer properties and others. So I'm going to click the map and click this object. So you can select any regions that you want to clip. Like maybe I want to clip this one. But if you want to select more than one, you need to press CTRL, and then you select this, another area that you want. This one. Okay, then you just right click it again. And then it's gonna be saved under the targeted data set. If you have a different data set that you already, this is the target data set is the name that if you want to change like the district or anything. So I'm just going to change it into district. So the target data source, if you have two different target data source, you can choose which one of the data that you want to put it into. But right now I only have one target data source, so I'm just going to save it under training week 2 and just let it be right now. So I'm just click OK. So you can just double click, and you can see this is the area that I already clicked. So if you want to see the properties, you can just click here. Then you can see on your right side, there is this information or the properties about the layers. You can see like the value, the names of the places that you already clicked. Like this one is Cerantut Pahang, and this one gonna be Lipis, Hilir Perak, Batam Padang, Kuantan, and others district. So you can also browse the associated table directly. Here you can see directly all of the layers attribute table. So you can see like the names. If you want to know which area is this polygon, so you just click it. It's gonna show you like, oh, this one is actually at Toronto, and this one is gonna show you here in the associated table. Or you can just double click it and it's going to pop up on your right side. So okay, for the click data, I'm sorry. So we already clicked the data, and now we're going to add label to map and differentiate each state with different color, which is our goals for today, which is to create a thematic map. Okay, so I'm going to close this one. If you want to save the change to the district at training week 2, you can just click yes, but I don't want to save it. So I'm just click no. Okay, so this, you can click pen on the laptop here to zoom in and to zoom out the layers. Okay, so now we're going to create a thematic maps. So I'm just going to right click on this layer again, and then you can see create thematic maps in this. So just click create thematic map. And then you can click the unit values map because I want to change it to default. Then I'm going to click OK here. So this one, as you can see, it gave you the same colors because the unit value expression that I literally put is ID. So it didn't have any differences or change. So I'm going to change my unit value expression into district, which is name underscore true. But as you can see, it's quite colorful, and you can change the color scheme here by which color scheme that you want. But since I want to make our unit value expression into a district, so I'm going to change it into name underscore one, which is a district. So as you can see, different district, different state has a different color. I'm so sorry. I'm going to change it into state. So right now we are seeing there is a different color where each color represents each state. As you can see, Kedah, you can see a yellow one, Selangor a soft purple or lilac like that. So this one is already done. So you can also change its colors here. If this one for unit values map, but if you want to like change into like the DEM colors that you want to change, you have a data affiliation and everything, you can just change into DEM and DVI. You can just explore it later about the color scheme here. So I'm just gonna let it be like this. So next, I'm going to create a thematic map again, but a label thematic map. So I'm going to right click it again. Then I'm going to create a thematic map. And then I'm going to create a label uniform map. I'm going to put it a default. I'm just going to click OK here. So as you can see here, the expression of this one is all of it Malaysia, because we know right now we are doing the maps of Malaysia. So basically the expression is all about Malaysia, but as I want to change it into a different expression where I can change it. If you want to change it into the district, you can see like every district has, you can see that in this states, the pink states, we have a Besut, Setiu, Kuala Terengganu, Hulu Terengganu, Marang, Dungun, and Kemaman district under this pink state where you can check it on the associate level. This is actually Terengganu state. So, but I don't want it. As you can see, if you want, okay, you can either just let it be like this, or you can change it into the states area, because I just want to show you the states area. So you can see that instead of the district names one by one, you can see that there is like the same names over the district, like Terengganu, 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 Terengganu. Or you can just change it into the name or Malaysia only, or the district names, depends on what you want. So my final goals, I want to change it into the district name. So I'm going to change it back to name underscore 2, which is my expression. Then I can actually change the background shape of this area, where background shape we can change here under the background. You can go to the default. You can change either you want to be like that, it be nothing behind the words, or you can change it into the rectangle. It's going to be like this. Or you can change into the round rectangle, ellipse, triangles, markers. Here, markers. You see, a dot here. But I'm going to just change it into default. And you can change that. Either you want it to be overlapped or you want the label always on the top. And you can change this text style, like the font size, the height, the rotation, the text color. And if you want it to be bold or you want it to be italic, you can change it. Or if you want it to have any underline, you can just click it. And the font here also, you can just change on the font here, like depending on what you love or what you like. It's gonna let you do some type of font. So this one, when you already finish it, this is the final look of the thematic map. So I'm just going to close it. Look at the log file. So as you can see, this is the one that I want to create for today's, which is the thematic map of Malaysia by using iDesktopX. So as you can see, I already finished and create a thematic map of Malaysia by using iDesktopX. And if you want to see these maps, you just right click in any area of the maps here. I mean here in this space, just right click it. And you can save as a map, or you can export it to PDF, or you can save it as image dataset, but I'm going to save as a map. So I'm going to change the name as a district of Malaysia. Click OK. And then you can see under maps, you have a new file. So you can just close it. Yes. Then you can just directly open here and it will come up like the map that you previously had done create. It will come out like this. So I'm going to save my workspace. Here you can see my workspace, the name is untitled workspace because I didn't save it yet. So you can just right click this untitled workspace. And you can see that you has if you want to open a new file workspace, or you can save the workspace or want to upload a workspace, here is it. But I'm going to save the workspace as, you can see it will come up like this. The file name, okay, this one is where you want to save it. So just click it. And you're going to save this workspace of what you already created here. And I'm going to save it in this file. So I'm going to name it as a SuperMap train. And you can see that the SuperMap, the file type going to be in SMW. So I'm going to save it here. If you want to put a password, also can, but I'm not going to put anything, so you just can click here. Okay. Okay, so you're already saved, and you can see it changed from the untitled workspace into the SuperMap _ training. So before I forget, you can see your data actually under which coordinates. So here you can see my data is actually by using a GCS and WGS 1984 type of data. And if you have, okay, you can see there's an output windows here. Sorry. Output windows here, where if you want to add the data source, You can see in output windows that my data source has been successfully uploaded. If you have any problems that you encounter, it will also come out in your output window. So you can check your output window if you find any problems or encounter any problems, or you want to check the imported data if you either you already successfully imports or not. And then you can see the completed time and either your workspace has been saved successfully or not. So you can see that my workspace has been successfully saved. So yeah, I think that's all from me for today's session.
Okay, thank you, Shafika. So now we will move on to the Q&A session. So you can type in your question in the Q&A box, or you can type in, or you can raise your hand to directly discuss with our speaker. So Shafika, I think there is a few questions that you maybe you can answer.
Okay, I'm going to answer first by Sabrina Ashraf. Okay, so on which portal can we publish our map services using SuperMap? Okay, you can publish it by using iServer, which is also SuperMap's one of SuperMap software. You can publish the maps and services here on iServer or iPortal. For Sabrina, I'm already answered the question. So for Abhishek, okay, the remove no value, actually like maybe, okay, I'm going to share my screen back. Wait, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so your question is, you want me to elaborate more about remove no value. Okay, so as you can see in this picture, actually remove no value is like maybe like you can see there is some lag boundaries that may appear due to the overlapping no value area, and this one is actually an overlapping of the no value areas and a normal area. Hence, you can delete or remove the no value areas by using this monster data set. So of course you want to make it clear, or you don't want this black areas inside of your data set. So you just can click here and it's going to make your maps looks like this after you click the no value area. So no value areas is the area that you want to remove, as it actually overlapping in between the normal areas and the no values areas. So next question, how to import shapefile? You can just okay, wait, okay, I'm going to reply one more. Okay, so do we need to submit our work for every end of the session? I'm going to answer that. Okay, if you attend this workshop from very early to the end, and we're going to check your attendance later on, so you don't need to submit the demonstration that I just shown you previously, like the final result. But if you didn't attend any of the weeks, like maybe next week or this week you didn't attend, you need to submit the weeks that you didn't attend to us, so we can give you a certificate during 14 December, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. So how to import shapefile? you can import the shapefile. You can import the shapefiles here. On the data source, you just right click it. And you can, you can click under the data source after you create your own data source. So I'm going to show you another example. So I'm going to the data source. So you can see that I just create a new file under data source. So you just right click it, like training here. This is where you can import your data set, or you can create a new data set. Like you want to create, import the shapefile like I previously shown you. You can just click your shapefile here, and then you can click open, and it will directly import it, just like that. Why my new data source icon is not working? May I know when you right click, it didn't came out anything, or how, Dorothy? If you can click a new data source, maybe you need to download the iDesktop again. Here, I think Anis already shared with you this new zip file of the software. So you can, oh, okay, all right, Dorothy. Okay, so if any of you have problems that you can, when you click the new data source, nothing appeared and everything, you can, maybe you need to download the software again, because I think I used to have this kind of problems again, the same problem. So I just download a new types of new software. I mean the new zip file of the software, and then it will gonna be okay. But if you encounter it again, you may just directly contact us lah.
Okay.
Import MS, wait, last question, import MSD or ArcMap, so that we don't need to symbolize every layer. Wait, I think we cannot open or import art from the ArcMap, like MSD. But if I think you can import from MSD into the SuperMap. But if I happen to like know how to import the MSD into ArcMap, I will tell you guys next week. So I think Shalan, I'm going to IV your question, but for me, as I know right now, we cannot import MSD into the SuperMap. Okay, Anis.
Okay, so is there anyone else have another question? Okay, so I think that's all. All right, so I hope to see you all again next week for week 3. So for next week, we will cover 2 topics, which is about data editing and also about data processing. Okay, so thank you again, everyone. So to those who are still having issue about this week training, so you can stay for a while, and Shafika and me will help you. Okay, thank you, everyone. So for those who are still having issue, can you please raise your